What's up, everybody? This is JP, your online personal trainer, and today I'm here to talk about a very common problem that I see with beginner and even intermediate lifters. If you're an advanced lifter or you're following a program from someone who is a really good trainer, they will definitely not have this problem, but I see this all the time, and while it's not too bad, this is going to really puts a big dent in the amount of gains or strength or whatever goals you're trying to obtain. And that's that people they tend to train a body part just one time a week, which is, again, it's not going to hurt you in the sense where it's like an injury or something or bad form or anything like that, but it's not, you could be making a lot more progress if you're training body parts more than one time a week. Now that's basically, to sum it up, stop training a body part one time a week, train it more than one time a week, but I'm going to explain why. When a body part or an individual is subjected to higher volume, which is more work done during a workout, basically you're doing more sets, more reps, more weight during a workout, if implemented intelligently, adaptations will occur, positive adaptations. And by intelligently, I mean, for example, I don't want someone to take that, if I didn't put the intelligent part, and I just said, well, if subjected to a higher volume, you're going to make positive adaptations, someone's just going to do more and more and more and more. No, that's not how it works. Obviously, an individual can overtrain if you're just doing too much. So when you're implementing volume intelligently, making small increases over time to volume, and eventually you're going to hit some type of cap on the amount of volume. You're going to have to think of different ways to do things, maybe have deload phases, things like that. You're not going to be able to keep increasing volume forever, but increasing volume is an important factor to continuing to see results. Your body needs to see some type of overload on it to continue to make results. It needs to have a reason to change. So knowing that, obviously increasing volume is good. Now, another fact is that protein synthesis only lasts up to 48 hours, sometimes sooner. And again, there may be the 1 in 1,000 people where it's a little bit longer than 48 hours. But it's generally, and even if it is a crumb longer, and remember, I'm not saying that based off studies, I'm just saying that based off of the fact that some humans are extremely freaky. If you're on no type of gear, it's very rare that you'll have even a crumb longer than 48 hours. Remember, the human body is very diverse, but generally around 48 hours is where your body stops protein synthesis post-workout. What does that mean? Well, when you work out, you expect to break down muscle tissue during the workout, and then when you eat after you work out and sleep and continue to eat when you wake up and then recover, during this recovery period between workouts or just after the workout in general, the 48 hours after your workout is the only time that your body is going to be recovering from that workout, where you're going to continue building new muscle tissue. After the 48 hours, your body is no longer going to positively build muscle tissue. You're not going to continue to get bigger biceps from that workout you did on Monday on Thursday. It's not, or Friday. It's not going to work like that. So knowing that, remember, you can look this up. There's dozens of studies out there about this. Again, if it was something that was maybe more hard to find, I would post a study below, but again, it takes 2 seconds to look it up. Just look up protein synthesis post-workout. How long can you grow muscle tissue post-workout? But it's 48 hours. Now, knowing this, it only lasts up to 48 hours. There is a certain amount of work that you can do that's going to maximize the recovery that you see in the 48 hours, and any more that you do on that body part, it doesn't matter because you only can recover for 48 hours. Now, a good analogy for this is if I gave you a shovel and I said, dig this hole as deep as you can, the deeper that you dig this hole, the more money that you're going to get. But you have to fill the hole back up within 2 days period. So in 2 days, dig the hole as deep as you can and fill it all the way back up. And if you can fill it all the way back up, the deeper that you dug the hole, the more money you'll get. Some people will maybe not do that analogy intelligently and they'll dig the hole a mile deep, but then guess what? They're not taking into consideration that they have to fill it back up. And if they don't fill it back up within the 48 hours, let's just say you get no money, then they're not going to get any money. Some people, if they're really intelligent, they're going to dig the hole. And remember, sometimes you might have to dig holes and holes and holes over periods of months and years to really learn how to do this properly. But some people might dig the hole, push their limits all the way, dig a really deep hole, and then dig the hole so deep that they have just enough time to fill it back up within that 48 hours. It's a perfect example for how protein synthesis works. When you are during a workout, you're just damaging muscle tissue. That's all you're doing. And if you just damage and damage and damage and damage past the point that your body can't recover that damage, your body can't recover from that damage that you did in 48 hours, then it's pointless. There's no point of doing any more reps. There's no point. You're just now negatively affecting your body. And if you keep continuing to do this trend, that's where you start to see the negative symptoms from overtraining. And that, I talked about that in another video. You can check that out on my page. But yes, overtraining has a whole host of negative health effects that come with that. But again, you want to prevent overtraining. So again, just consider protein synthesis when you're thinking about how much you want to do during your specific workout. Now, and this third point, I'm going to kind of combine everything with the third and fourth points. To combine higher volume but respect the protein synthesis window, which is 48 hours, train each muscle group 2+ times a week. Now, you can do this multiple ways. Now, the benefits of doing this are, twofold. One, you're still going to get subjected to higher volume if you implement that intelligently. And remember, higher volume is a key marker for hypertrophy. If you want to make muscular gains, if you want to get stronger, you're going to have to subject your body to some type of volume. You have to have some volume in there. You can't just do one rep, and then if it's a really hard rep, you can't do one rep and walk away. That's not enough. Your body needs to be subjected to more than that. But you don't want to hammer one muscle group the entire volume, the entire workout with a ton of volume on one muscle group. Because again, protein synthesis only lasts for 48 hours. So what I would recommend, again, in this third comment, is to combine the two. You could do this a few ways. For example, for an advanced lifter, and this might be a lot of exercise, but again, genetics plays a role into this, and how long you've been training plays a role into this, and how much volume you do. You could do this a few ways. One, you could work out 6 days a week. You could have 2 upper body pull days, 2 upper body push days, and 2 leg days. You're hitting each muscle group 2 times a week, and even though you're working out 6 days a week, like for example, if you have your first day is upper body pull, then the next day is upper body push, and third day is legs. Your upper body pull day, you're giving your body 48 hours to recover before you hit it again. So you're giving your body, actually that would be 72 hours, could be 24, 48, 72. So that's a little bit past the protein synthesis window, but think about it like this. The next day after you're fully recovered, you're hitting that muscle group again, which is your goal. Now, some people, remember, and your goal, like I said, overall is to work a muscle group 2 or more times a week. That was just one scenario that I gave you where you're working out the muscle group twice a week. Now, for example, you could just go for a full body routine. Some people, some people may think, oh my God, that's completely against bodybuilding standards. No, it's not. You could do four workouts a week where you hit all body parts each day. So think about it. You're hitting each body part every single day of the week. But if you're doing it 4 days a week, I would recommend probably, I wouldn't put it into a weekly schedule, because if you did it in 4 days in a 7-day period, you're not going to be able to fit that. You're eventually going to have 2 days that are back to back. If you do it this way, because you're hitting 4 days, I would probably have a off day between each workout day, and that will prevent you from, 1, working any muscle group too much, but 2, getting proper recovery between workouts. So unlike the first example where I had 6 days and you're working out each day, but the muscle group would get rested while the other muscle groups are getting trained, this you actually have a full recovery day between each workout. Again, you're still doing what I'm saying is, because you're in both of these examples that I'm giving you, you're training each muscle group roughly around 48 hours. So once it's fully recovered, you want to be able to hit it again. And 2, you're preventing too much volume on one single workout for one muscle group. For example, instead of doing like, in my first example where I said 6 days a week you're working out and you're doing upper body pull, upper body push for the next day, then the third day you're doing legs, and then you do that again, you keep repeating that, you're not going to have a ton of volume. You're not going to be doing 30, 40 sets like I see some people do. You're not going to. You could do maybe around 15 sets. That's all you'll need to do if you're doing an upper body pull day. You don't need to do a ton because you're going to be doing it 2 or 3 days later anyways. So you don't need to do a ton of volume on that one day. Again, there is still going to be some volume in there. If you do 15, 16 sets extremely hard, maybe add a drop set at the end of each exercise. So if you have 4 exercises, 4 sets each, that's 16 sets, and you have a drop set at the end of each exercise, so for 4 drop sets total, that's a pretty good amount of volume on just your pull, your upper body pull days. Or the other example that I said where you have 4 days, a recovery day between each day, and you hit every body part each day, that's pretty good volume too, but you're not hammering each muscle group too much. So there's like a balance of total work volume that you're doing on a muscle group combined with frequency, which is how often you hit that muscle group. And again, you want to hit it. The whole point of this is you want to hit the muscle groups more frequently than what I commonly see. Again, if you want to keep it simple, I would recommend hitting a muscle group at least 2 times a week, sometimes 3. The more you hit a muscle group, let's just say we'll talk about 4 times a week. If you hit a muscle group 4 times a week, the volume per each workout and the intensity cannot be the same. It can't be high volume, high intensity 4 times a week. It's not going to work like that. You are going to overtrain. I would recommend staggering it. Like, for example, hypothetically, if you were doing a leg day 4 times a week, let's just say you were, I would have one day just a strength day, no hypertrophy, long rest periods, heavy sets. One day, maybe a real light endurance day. Just go for, and remember, this is for someone who's total body training, not a specific strength athlete. Strength athlete may not want to do endurance. I'm just talking about someone who just, a general fitness person. One day you may want to, for a second day, you may want to do high rep, high endurance. The third day, you may want to do hypertrophy. And then the fourth day, you may want to work on something that takes away the eccentric portion so you make sure you're not overtraining. Maybe you just want to work on some more power type exercises, with longer rest periods. And then each day the volume would be relatively low because you're working out more frequently. Now, on the other spectrum, if you're just working out twice a week, let's just say you're working out, which is the minimum that I would recommend, legs twice a week, the volume can be a little bit higher. Maybe instead of doing, in my other example, you'd be definitely doing less than 10 sets. You shouldn't be doing more than 10 sets if you're working out the body part 4 times a week. But if you're working it out twice a week, you may be able to do 15 sets if you want to, somewhere around there, maybe even pushing 20 depending on the person. I would probably recommend not even going that high for most people. And all of this is summed up by shows importance of the minimum effective dose. The minimum effective dose is the minimum amount of effort or whatever we're talking about, effort that you need to put in to see effective changes in your body. Now, this does not mean not training hard. That's not what that means. My minimum effective dose is saying that, for example, if someone is going to see maximum hypertrophy results, let's just say with 12 sets of pull-ups on one day, and let's just say any more than 12 sets of pull-ups is pointless. Then you see another person who says, well, I'm going to work harder than you, and I'm going to do 25 sets of pull-ups. 25 sets of pull-ups is not going to get you any more muscular growth over someone who's doing 12 sets. And on top of that, it's going to have negative impacts on, again, your body composition, your immune system. It's eventually going to lead you to be overtraining. So what is the point of doing any more than you need to if you're already seeing, if you're going to see maximum results? So again, to sum the whole video up, I know it can get a little confusing. I would recommend at least training twice a week, if not more. The more you train, the more you're going to have to balance volume and intensity. You can't train hard and long 4 times a week. So a good magic number, I would say, for going by weekly schedules, if you want a perfect, probably 3 times a week. That would be guaranteed optimal. You could have a hard day, a medium day, and a light day, simple as that. You could have different goals. One could be a strength day, and one could be a hypertrophy day, and one could be a muscular endurance day. There's a lot of ways that you can do that. You can structure that. Just stop working out muscle groups 1 time a week. You're cutting yourself off from gains of those other 5 days. If you work out legs Monday, like most people do, 30 sets on one day, one, you're doing too much, because you can, again, it all comes back to protein synthesis. That 30 sets is not going to be able to recover fully in that 48 hours. And 2, once the 48 hours is up, or once the 48 hours is up, if you were to have trained intelligently on Monday, let's just say you only did 16 sets on Monday or 12 sets on Monday, 2 days later, your body's like, okay, I'm fully recovered. When are we going to go again? And then you're waiting another 4 or 5 days before you even hit it again. And those 4 or 5 days, you're kind of missing out on gains. If you like these videos that are pretty in-depth, I know they can't get in-depth. Those are for all the people that really want to know about this stuff. But if you like these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. Again, I have a Facebook, an Instagram, a Twitter, and you already know about my YouTube. I help people out for free all the time. Just message me on there. I'll give you tips, advice, anything else you need to know. But until next time, see ya.